In the late 1800s, only a decade or so after the American Civil War, American industrialization was in its peak. People from all over the world were starting to immigrate to America. This caused many Americans to lose their jobs due to the fact that immigrants worked harder and for longer hours. This caused tension between many people. Americans tried to focus on other things by entertaining themselves. They did this by going to cities to watch plays and listen to music. Music was played live and only so many people had the luxury to watch it. During the industrialization era, many inventors were trying to find a way to recreate the human voice. Many inventors were unsuccessful. That is until 1877 when Thomas Edison created the phonograph. Thomas Alva Edison was born 1847 and grew up in Millen, Ohio. Thomas Edison was born to Sam and Nancy on February 11, 1847. Edison was the youngest of 7 children.
Growing up, Edison wasn't the brightest student. He was even kicked out of school for his poor grades. After that, his mother had to take up his education. He even said this one quote that I found very nice. He said that, "My mother is the making of me. She was so sure, so true, and for the first time I felt as if I had someone I could not disappoint." Also at an early age, Edison found a fascination for mechanical things and chemical experiments.
Later on in Edison's life, he became a well-known inventor. He invented both the telegraph, the telephone, and later on the incandescent light bulb. He wanted to incorporate the same methods of both the telegraph and the telephone to create an invention that could play back the human voice. The phonograph was the first machine to record the human voice.
The phonograph works by collecting sound waves that go through the cone. This causes the needle to vibrate and create grooves on the wax cylinder. The way to make the phonograph works is you place the needle at the beginning of the recording. The person will turn the crank that causes the wax cylinder to move, and the needle will glide over the grooves, and this will play back the sound.
The first public showing of the phonograph spurred different reactions. Some of the audience thought was a hoax, some fainted, and some were just simply astonished. At first, the phonograph was very popular in the public, but it had quite a number of problems.
The first model of phonograph that was produced had major flaws in it, the main being that the cylinder that held the recordings had to be replaced after 12 or so uses because the grooves would wear down. Then the cylinders had to be replaced, and this was a hassle and very costly.
Later in 1887, a German inventor by the name of Emil Berliner invented the gramophone and the vinyl record. This was more popular because it had better quality sound and the recording device held 2 minutes more than the phonograph. The phonograph ended up being taken off the market a few months later.
Many people called Edison a failure when he was actually a revolutionary. It is because of him we have the technology we have today for sound, like CDs and MP3s.
The effects of recording have impacted society historically, culturally, and scientifically.